Yeah.
Dylan is a comedian from Toronto. He's traveled around the world on cruise ships, and he's also a regular performer in Vegas and San Francisco. We were just talking about that before we started broadcasting. You've done Comedy Now special on CTV and the Comedy Network. And when you're not doing a comedy, you're also a substitute teacher. So thank you for joining us today.
You're most welcome.
So we've got Carla. Carla's on the line again. So
Hey,
we're going to
Carla.
do Carla's going to be there to do some of our questions as we go. But by all means, if there's anything, Carla, that anyone wants to ask as we go, by all means, pop up. If not, I'll try and cue you throughout it.
Yeah, if
Will
anyone
do.
has any questions along the way, just pop right on in.
Excellent.
Carla's
Well, I have to
gonna-
tell you, Dylan, I'm super excited for today because I love to laugh. It is one of my most favorite things, but I'm not known as a funny person. I more like to laugh at other people. So looking forward to that today and looking forward to today's session because this is a time when all of us, especially in times of uncertainty, actually need to laugh. So maybe you can just share how you got into comedy in the first place.
First of all, I would just like to tell everybody that that Nicole right now is sitting on an exercise ball, and it would make my COVID experience if she fell off of it during this interview.
Well, you're gonna have to make me laugh really hard because I'm gonna grip onto this table, try not to fall off on the ball.
That would just be wonderful. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I'm sorry, what was the question? Something
So
about
how
a
did you
hacker?
get started into comedy? Like what brought you into comedy?
It's just so much fun. Let's not be honest. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's great. I love it. I started at 17 years old. First time I went on stage, it was in high school. It just felt like a superpower to make people laugh. It was my Avenger power.
I love that superpower.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I know that some people, like, you know, I get asked like a lot, you know, who are my influences and all that stuff. It changes. I think the biggest influence, if you watch my comedy, I'll give you a hint.
Oh, Jim Carrey?
You guessed it, Stephen Wright. No, yeah, it is it's Jim Carrey.
Canadian too, Toronto. Yes. I said he's a Canadian as well.
Yes, he is, Nicole. Good for you. You've done your Wikipedia homework.
Well, we all love Jim Carrey. Is he one of your like early inspirations, or was that once you were into comedy?
He was an early one. When Ace Ventura came out I was 13 years old. That changed my life. You know, I just turned into him. I could do that impression, and I was just like, okay, this is who I am now.
We have some good faces. Now, I mentioned earlier that you did cruise ships, and you were on one of the cruise ships just before all those outbreaks happened. Like, tell us about that experience.
Have you seen The Walking Dead? Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I got like how do I say this? Like I didn't get like kicked off the cruise. Like all the entertainers just got like in mass exodus. We were all sent home. And here's the thing, like just between us, thousands of people watching, I wasn't feeling well the day that I left the cruise. I was feeling slightly feverish. Okay. Now the thing is, I mean, it could have been anything. And the only thing that I knew about, see, on the ships, I had limited news sources because the cruises, there's not CP24 on a cruise. So all I had was the only news stations I had on the ship were Fox News and MSNBC, basically. And so that's like it's the Republicans versus the Democrats on two news stations, right? So you're getting like the MSNBC is like, don't you just like hate Republicans? And then you got Fox News going, everything's gonna be fantastic. Don't even worry about it. It's not even a thing. Just go live your life. So, and I didn't know what was going on with me. I was really scared. And they were saying like they were saying the symptoms could be anything. Like
was
anything
COVID
really.
on the ship you were on?
What's that?
Was this COVID on the ship you're on, or is this more
There was no
preventative?
cases reported, but then they're like, well, you could have it and not even know it. You could just, it could be
Oh,
anything, any symptom ever. Like just, like, is it a cough, a chest, a headache, a throat? I mean, that's my day on default right there. I'm always, bottom of your foot, you have it. Like, like the symptoms are like, honey, how come our Netflix password isn't working? Yeah, that's a symptom. That's it. Honey, do you see what happened to my blue shirt? Yeah, COVID took it. You should take your temperature. Honey, I just realized I sent an email to the boss and had all kinds of, I realized after it had all kinds of spelling mistakes in it. Do you think, is that a symptom? Is that COVID-18? Oh, I did it again.
well, and we're living that today, right? I think all of us right now in Pickering, it's raining, right? So you might wake up with a little bit of a scratchy throat and you think, oh my God, right? It's
Yeah, you
COVID.
can't, and I'm
Yes,
a hypochondriac as the best. You know, it's funny because I know last week you had like a worry counselor on. I was
yeah,
like, I
worry
watched that. I was
expert.
like, this woman's not teaching you guys how to worry at all. I thought she was terrible. I can teach you guys how to worry.
Are
Remember,
you a good
like,
worrier?
I don't know about you, but like anytime someone tells me not to do something, it's exactly this is the first thing I want to do. So just make sure you don't touch your face. I was like, what was that? I'm sorry, what you said? I can't hear. I can't hear what you're saying right now.
You can't help
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Well, it's funny because one of the questions I was going to ask you is how do you be funny at a time like this? But clearly you're rolling with it, so you're making the jokes, the COVID
I
jokes.
can't I don't. So funny when you ask that. How can you be funny at a time like this, Dylan? So sorry, Nicole. So sorry.
No, no, no. Our
Uh,
worry expert said we shouldn't be guilty. We shouldn't feel guilty about those things. So no
no,
guilt, no guilt for having to
I
apply.
like finding the humor in it. You know, it's the only way I can really deal with this kind of stuff. You know, and it's really funny because I came like when I came home off the cruise, I came straight home to stay with my folks, and you know, just to infect the ones that I love. That was my plan.
You didn't, did you?
No, luckily, anything, all the symptoms that I was feeling, they were very minor and they went away, and I feel fine now, which is great. I've sent my parents out of the, you know, of this place while I'm doing this to get COVID, and so so it's good, you know, it's good times.
Good
Good times.
times. Very, very, very loving son. Very loving son.
Yeah.
So your BA is in drama. So were you a bit of like a class clown? Is that that's how you got into all of this?
Uh, no, I mean, yeah, yes, but drama was just the reason I got a drama degree is because in high school, my guidance counselor said, look, you can get a drama degree or you can drop out of high school. That's what you can do.
Those are the
There's
two.
no that's what's underneath drama degree. Yeah, I had a buddy of mine graduate with me today. He works at a haunted house.
Aw.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
bad.
took drama classes growing up. I would have loved to have been an actor, but I don't think I had the same courage in order to do it. But I think it would have been a lot of fun for sure.
Uh, it is fun. It's fun to do drama, but to pay tuition to, and wasn't in like a Bachelor of Fine Arts acting program. I was learning of drama. I was learning this is where the Romans used to change their costumes. Isn't
The
that
theory.
isn't that round out your life, Dylan? Do you know how to open up an RRSP now? Isn't that isn't this the word well where the education? Like it was just terrible. And I was doing stand up the whole time, straight C student. Not that
Yeah.
I recommend that to the kids.
Consistent consistencies.
That's right. And and then so after I graduated with a BA in drama, which I realized it was just brutal, like getting your yellow belt and then joining the UFC. Um, but I decided to go back to school and with a C minus average, I got into teachers college.
And now you do your substitute teaching.
That's
So what
right.
is it like for you when you're on the other side of the fence? So now I'm sure you see the kids in your class that are the class clowns and so on. What is it like for you when you have to be professional and you can't be the class clown, or do you as a teacher?
I have made the mistake of treating unruly children like hecklers, which isn't
Um,
that's not great. It's not great for the kids' self-esteem right there, having me embarrass them in front of all their friends and peers. Um, so I do. Like people often ask, like, aren't you like, don't you just like make them laugh? And I'm like, when they earn it, these kids, they will eat you alive. Do you not know that substitute, it's actually it's a French word. It means la piñata.
yeah.
Did you know that? It's true. I wouldn't lie to you about that. It's true.
It's true. We all remember when the substitute teacher comes in.
Yeah. So I walk in there and just, oh, they just start like, oh my God, this is so amazing. We're gonna destroy.
It's like pray.
Yeah, it's like honestly, I feel like I'm just dipped in honey walking into the lion's den.
Do you try and bring humor into the classroom? Because I'm sure right now all these parents at home that are doing their own homeschooling, like what can they do just to bring some humor into the house each day with the kids?
Oh, I would turn on a Jim Carrey movie, to be honest. Like there's that parents aren't that, can't imagine they're losing their mind. Yeah, my sister, she's a teacher and she has two kids of her own at home. And I call her up, I ask her what her life is like, and she answers me like she's on intervention. Like, it's everything since I have no more money, I can't sleep, can't sleep.
Did she write
She won't
letters
tell
of what she
anyone
wanted
else.
to say to the
What's
kids?
that?
Did she write letters out of this is what I wanted to tell you to the kids?
Yeah, just yeah. She's trying. She won't accept any help because of she doesn't want anyone near the house. Um, my niece just celebrated a sixth birthday party, and people to celebrate her birthday, they're driving by in cars, honking the horn with posters saying "Happy Birthday" and just like it's drive by celebrations now. It's still
My
pretty fun.
birthday. But you know what? That's better than the virtual, right? Because I think we've all had our share of Zoom meetings now. And my 10-year-old nephew had his Zoom birthday party, which was quite entertaining actually to try and get that many people onto Zoom. I'm now becoming help desk for people. But the drive-by I think would be more fun. You get a little bit more interaction.
It's good, she was taking videos of everything and the kids are lighting up and but all the other neighbors are just going, "Come on, man. Quick, just can you just drive by and wave?" Like it sounds like a parade float going by. It's so loud. It's ridiculous.
Thank God that sixth birthday only happens once. Now
Yeah.
you mentioned Jim Carrey, like throw on a Jim Carrey movie. What about TV shows or anything else that we could use to try and put humor into our day? Any suggestions for us?
Nicole, have you not heard of Netflix? Is that lost on you? Have you not
Yeah, I
picked up
haven't.
on
I am.
what
I'm.
other, Dylan, are there other entities that we could use? Like, have you heard of YouTube at all? I mean,
Yeah.
Hulu, anything?
I've
No,
got,
I do try to stay on top of a lot of. I'm a big fan of stand up and comedy, obviously. So I watch a lot of it. But yeah, if, Netflix has got tons of comedy specials. There's great, even just watching reruns of The Office. I mean, we all have time. We all have time to catch up on new things, and because a lot of times I hear friends are like, well, I've watched everything. I've watched, all the Ozarks and all the Better Call Sauls and all the all, they've all run out. So
you got
just
to go to
yeah,
the next level on Netflix.
yeah.
You got to go past the what's trending page and go to the next one.
Yeah. There's a lot of, yeah, I mean, I think there's what's sad is that there's so much Canadian talent that isn't being seen, and there's so many funny people out there, that are great. If you go to CBC's like Winnipeg Comedy Festival, you see a
Okay.
lot of really funny comedians on there. I don't know if that's shown enough, but I've seen some really great stuff.
Okay. No, we'll definitely, we'll get some links from you that we'll post on our intranet after for some suggestions for people who have run out of all of the top things on Netflix. So what about you when you're out there doing stand-up? So stand-up is your thing. Like, what's your shtick? Is there something that you that's your go-to sort of joke about yourself, or what are some of the things that you can share with us?
You know, it's interesting. I'll say this: the one of the biggest laughs I got when I was up and coming as a stand-up. I was maybe 20 years old, and I walk up on stage. Okay, this is I'll do the joke. This is the joke. I walk on stage and I go, "Hey, everybody! Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Hey, look, the kid from Mad Magazine grew up." And then I did this.
I
So
almost rolled off the ball, but I stayed. So that's good. You gotta go a little deeper.
if you roll off that ball, it's going to be so funny. I won't have a joke to follow that. It's going to be the funniest thing. Everyone's going to be like, "This COVID experience has been wonderful. Thank you." That made everything. It was wonderful. Yeah, that was I just did the impression of Mad Magazine. I was like, yeah, I know that's not sexy. I've never once walked up to a girl and said, "Hey, I think you're hot and I want to call you." Here's a show that I can recommend, at least that I like to watch, is because it's uplifting. It has like a great ending, is Undercover Boss. Those are great to rewatch. I will say though that there's an American version and then there's a Canadian version, and the American versions, they're different because they have so much more money. You know the premise of this? Boss goes undercover, pretends to be whatever an employee, and then at the end reveals themselves and then offers their employee who they were hanging out with just a brand new life of riches. And when you watch the American one, it's like it's so heartfelt and warm. That I was like, "Hey, listen, Jim, you told me that you and your wife are going through some really tough times right now, and I'd like to compensate you with $250,000 and send your wife on a wonderful 7-day vacation to Fiji." And everyone's just like, "Oh my God, that's so funny." And then you switch over to the Canadian side. It's like, "Oh, hey there, Gord. You've been telling me a little bit of hard times you've fallen on. So here's your Tim's card. That's coffee for about a week there, And we're gonna send you and your wife on a beautiful 7-day trip to Thunder Bay." Not at the same time, there, Gordy. Not at the same time. No, we couldn't get Porter on the line for a deal there. So 1 week you, the other, the wife, and such. Putting you up there at the Hojo, so that'll be fun. I hear their coffee's fresh every day.
Well, he has a Tim's card now too.
Got a Tim's card. Don't even worry about that coffee there, Gordy. Yeah, you got the Tim's card. That's good for that's good coffee for a week right there. Aren't you happy you're on the show? Could have gone to Susan in accounting over there. She's could have gone with her, but I didn't.
I see Carlos popped onto the line.
I have. Well, this is somewhat, one of our staff members noticed you have, speaking of Tim's, you have some Tim's tins behind you. So I think they want an explanation.
Oh,
they're creeping.
Okay, so I live with two parents that are having a really difficult time staying indoors. And they're going out, and they love their Tim Hortons. So my dad, because on the off chance that this turns into the apocalypse, he wants to have fresh Tim Horton mugs, like cups, that he's got right there. So every time he goes to Tim Hortons, like, "Could you double cup that? You got a double cup." We don't know where this is going. People are stacking up on toilet paper. My dad wants Tim cups. That's what he wants. "You keep your toilet paper. I want my Tim's cups. I want a fresh cup of coffee and a nice little cup right there. I'm not losing out." So, yeah.
So that's in case you can't go to Tim Hortons, you're gonna make coffee at home and put it in the Tim's cup, so it feels like he's gone to Tim Hortons. Is that what that's for?
Yeah, like it's like lost on him that, Dad, you can just put it in a mug. Yeah, I don't understand what words you just said in a row right there. Yeah, that doesn't compute. No, I got a, yeah, like Tim's is going to be calling us for new cups. You understand? Yeah, Mr. Mandlsohn, we understand that you've been hoarding a lot of our Hortons. So, if you could just return some of those, that'd be great. That would really stimulate our economy. Really appreciate that. Yeah,
Well,
my
it's
dad's
all
like,
about
I don't know
doing
what you're
your part.
talking about. Click.
We say it's about doing your part, so you may be called on for actions. Just be ready.
Hey, this is you got you got all of that. It's pretty nutty up there.
Yeah, see, I love our employees. Nothing gets by, so whatever's in your room is going to be free, which is why I have blank walls here.
One of your employees was watching this, just going, okay, this is just so boring. Hey, what's all the Tim Hortons cups? What's with the Tim Hortons? Honey, look over here. This guy's got tons of Tim Hortons. What's his problem? What's going on?
We all have our vices, and your dad obviously has a Tim Hortons one, which we all do.
We do also have some, we do also have some comedians on staff, of course. So we got two comments. Well, one's a question, one's a comment. First question, are inside jokes the only acceptable jokes to tell right now? Yeah, that's funny. I like it. Yeah.
That was good.
Did you say a comedian asked that question?
No, an employee.
Oh, an employee. Are inside jokes the only one to tell right now?
Yeah, because we're all inside. I laughed. I laughed.
Did you laugh?
I did.
Was that an inside joke? Yeah. No, I don't. I don't think that.
The other one. This is a real question. Is there any advice as to how someone can keep their sense of humor through this time?
No. How can you keep your sense of humor? Find the funny in all of it. Just keep your you don't go to the sense of humor store. You just, you know what I mean? Like, honey, along with the toilet paper, make sure you bring home some jokes, okay? We want to keep our sense of humor. Okay, you do that. Thank you.
You can order that on Amazon, because Amazon is our friend right now. There's
we're gonna have, don't forget to order a sense of humor. We don't want to run out of that. Find enjoyment in the ridiculousness of all of this. You know what I mean? Just don't be afraid to make fun. Look, this whole thing here, I've been told to keep it squeaky clean. Mind your P's and Q's. But just keep your humor about. Obviously, this whole time has been very limiting for all of us. How do you get by? I mean, for me, it's very limiting. Aside from meeting up with friends and having soirees at the parks and going to nightclubs, it's been really tough for me.
I don't know what nightclubs you're going to, but I don't want to know either. So where do you come up with your material then, right? I mean, we're having fun with sort of our new isolation piece, but just in general, like, how do you come up with your material? Do you have like a go-to or what?
Yeah, I talk about everything that angers me.
Oh, okay.
That frustration, that I'm telling you, talk about what frustrates you. To me, I think frustration is a great emotion to create comedy off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it probably alleviates some of the frustration too if you make fun of it.
Say that again?
It probably alleviates some of the frustration if you make fun of it too.
Totally. It's so therapeutic. It's wonderful. It's how people ask me, like, are your parents funny? Is that why you're funny? I go, no, I'm funny because that's how I deal with my parents.
Ah.
You know what I mean? You gotta, like, look at that. Look at the Tim Hortons. You think that that's not lost on me? How dangerous this has been? Like, if someone said, Dylan, has your parents been going out at all to drive-throughs? And I'm like, no. Why would you say that? What would give you the tip off for that? Just that skyscraper of Tim Hortons cups over there. My dad's trying to hoard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it.
That's tough, definitely. So for you, it's the frustration.
I have to be funny about it. Yeah, I haven't. How else is it so ridiculous? I've been isolating myself way more than my parents. They're trying to be as cautious as they can, but I've been staying in because I don't want to get it, bring it back home and give it to them. That's tough, so I've just been staying here and slowly slipping into madness.
Well, one of my favorite comedy shows was Seinfeld, and theirs was just make fun of everything. It was the everyday experiences. So I don't know if that was something that you enjoyed as well. I still enjoy watching Seinfeld now, and there's a Seinfeld moment almost every day.
I love Seinfeld. He's great. He's absolutely he's great. And if you listen to Seinfeld, he's, even though it's a little bit lighter into like he's not a dark humor or anything, but it all comes from frustration. If you listen closely, it's all like, what is going on? Why are we doing this? Have you seen this guy? It's all stems from being frustrated and angry or something. It's great.
That's funny. So you mentioned Jim Carrey at the beginning as being one of your big inspirations. Are there any other comedians that have inspired you, and why?
Oh, I got a big library. I like all comedians of the spectrum, right? Like I love Bill Maher, who's the exact opposite of Jim Carrey. I love his fearlessness to say anything. So you got Jim Carrey, who is this wonderfully funny goofball with no political agenda at all. He's just out there to make you laugh. And then you have a comic like Bill Maher, who's completely politically oriented. I also like comics like Dave Chappelle. I like Louis C.K., even though he got into trouble, but I love his humor. I love Bill Burr. People think I'm his illegitimate brother. Yeah, I don't know. I do. I love, but there's a lot of Canadian comedians that I really enjoy. Comedians like Rob Pugh, if you haven't heard of him, he's excellent. Dave Hempstead, wonderful. Pete Zedlacker, really, really funny comedians. I totally look those guys up. You won't regret it. They're really, really funny guys. Amongst a ton of others. Erica Sigurdsson, really, really funny. Really funny.
Carla and I didn't make your list. No, we're not up there yet as fellow comedians.
Oh yeah, I'll fill your library. I'll fill your comedy library up with tons of people to search. They're great.
We've had a couple of inquiries if any members of SCTV are influences for your work, as well as Bill Burr. You seem to have similar tendencies as Bill Burr.
It's funny. I get compared to Bill Burr, but before Bill Burr, I was compared to. I've got Jim Carrey. I've got Daniel Tosh. People think I look like the guy from Modern Family. I get all that. Yeah, isn't that great? It's the mug I've been given. It's fantastic.
It's the facial expressions. You can turn into different characters, which is great.
Yeah, isn't that it helps. It's helped a lot being able to make these kind of faces because especially for social distancing. Like I live in a condo. I'm on an elevator. We have a 2-person limit for the elevator, and some people just aren't taking this seriously. Like they're standing like way too close to me. I'm like, easy does it. I am so paranoid. So I'll look right at them and just go. And they tend to get on the floor earlier
from the screen.
So that's nice. What's that? Did you almost fall off the ball?
Like I did. I'm still on the ball though.
I want to get you off the ball so much. It's gonna be so funny. That's right. My goal.
Wait for it. I'm sure it will happen. What about? Do you have like a #1 rule that you abide by as a comedian? Any sort of guiding principles, something that
I'm sorry, I was just having a moment. No, I don't.
No rules. Squeaky clean for today, though. That was your rule for today.
Wait, today I'm under the squeaky clean rule. Yeah.
That's funny.
It depends. I do a lot of squeaky clean shows on cruises. I have to do a lot of family friendly shows for parents and children. I perform to everybody, from like literally infants that are resting in their mom's shoulders, just like, okay, sweetie, we're at a comedy show right now. It's not time to be crying. To senior citizens, have done Disney cruise. Oh, that was the mother of clean. I got off stage on Disney, and some cruise director, listen to this. I was on stage. I said, I can't remember why I said this, but I said I'm too tall to play Donald Duck. And some cruise director comes up to me after the show and says, yeah, listen, you're not too tall to play Donald Duck because you're not Donald Duck. That guy's Donald Duck. And I said,
Wow.
just so I'm not
Don't
completely
mess with
freaked
the
out, you know, there's a dude inside that costume, right? It was bizarre.
Funny. Do you have a favorite type then of comedy? Because I mean, you're doing cruises, you're doing stand-up, but I know you've been to different big conference events. You were telling us before we went live, one of the events you were at, Ellen DeGeneres, was at the same event. Like, what do you have a favorite type of comedy?
I like the clever stuff. That makes me laugh, and it's yeah. I also, yeah, anything that sounds like it's well thought out. I like that.
Clever. What about age group? Is there an age group you like the best, or just anything that you can be free with?
Well, freedom is great. It's like comedy clubs are that's the Cadillac of where to do comedy, because most comedy clubs, especially Yuck Yucks, allows the comedians to do whatever they want. But I do enjoy performing. Like if I perform for children, one of the reasons why they're fun is because they don't even need clever punchlines. They just need voices and faces.
Yeah.
They don't, they're just like, and so here's the thing. So my niece and nephew, they're really young, and I make them laugh a lot. And I have to say that it is exhausting, because anything that I do that they like, I have to do that exact same thing 1,000 times.
Because they liked it.
Yeah, like I took my niece's toys, all these little kind of shapes and stuffed animals, whatever, and I put them up in a big ball like this. And all I did was I just go, achoo, and they go everywhere. And she was just like, this guy's a genius.
Do it again,
more times immediately. And then I just have, after I do that 1,000,000 times in a row, all I have to do is adjust it so slightly and it becomes brand new. If I turn that sneeze into a cough and I just go, they're like, this guy's got jokes. This guy's amazing. And then I got to do that. And like after a half an hour of this, I need to nap for a week.
That's funny.
And my sister's over there going, yeah, how do you think I feel? I don't care how you feel. Okay?
Look at what I just had to do.
She made me, my sister made me the godfather of her oldest child. And I gotta tell you, ever since, I have been calling my sister on a regular basis, making sure she's eating right, sleeping well, exercising, because I don't want to take care of this kid. I'm exhausted just talking about it, I'll be honest. It's actually, can we just like maybe take an intermission, like at least a 3-hour nap, and then reconvene? Can we do that? Is everybody cool with that?
That's what Carla does every time she's not on the screen. She's actually
That would
takes
be really
nap in between. Yeah.
Yeah, here's Carla.
Just about that time.
Deliver a really funny punchline here, Dylan. I thought I would interject with that.
Okay, 2 questions that are kind of related, I hope. Is it hard to perform before 1,200 people, 1,225 to be exact right now, and not hear the audience laugh? And then added to that, can you describe the worst crowd you've ever performed in front of?
Yeah, is it hard to, I know you guys are there, but it doesn't hit me really. I feel like this is just really between me and Nicole. I mean, I know you're there, it's not lost on me, but this is the very first time I've ever done anything like this. So without the feedback, without the laughter, without knowing if I'm getting any momentum, yeah, it's definitely new, but I guess I'm just cool with it. I think this is fun. It's it doesn't feel like straight stand up. It feels more like we're doing a podcast, which is great. I'll tell you one of the craziest moments when I was on stage. I was new into comedy, and I'll never forget this. I was doing so bad on stage. I heard a woman in the back of the room whisper. And I
Not a good feeling.
like she wasn't trying to be mean. She was just like observing, and and I literally heard her whisper at the back of the room. And I'm on stage and my heart just went, okay. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, okay, I got one more joke and then it's thank you, good night. And
yeah. Try again tomorrow.
that was in Windsor, Ontario, where that happened.
Yeah.
And that's where, oh my Lord, that's tough town. I learned a lot of good stuff there in Windsor because that's where I went to school. That's where I got my Bachelor of Arts in Drama.
Oh,
And
excellent.
sneak across over the border there and tell jokes in Michigan.
Yeah.
And all over. And what's really funny is, you don't have any American employees, do you? Do you have any
No,
here?
no, but we do have an office in Windsor, and they're all awesome. So
They're all awesome. Well done, Nicole. Way to, oh, what a politician.
No,
You're all amazing, Windsor. Yeah, even Windsor people are like, I don't know how accurate that is, but we're good. We're all right. Yeah, no, I love Windsor. I lived there for a few years, getting the degree. They definitely always they taught me a lot that I needed to know. Always a soft spot in my heart for Windsor, Ontario. Great shawarmas, surprisingly amazing food there. But anytime I go and I perform anywhere in America or on these ships that are predominantly American, they just right away, oh, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Canada. Oh, how's it going there, eh? How's it going, eh? And I'm like, really? Really? I sound like I have an accent? I tell them, you think I have an accent? I challenge you, travel your country, see how many straight talking English people you come across. Why don't you start in Minnesota? Oh, we'll have a fun tater tot time with this fella, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, they're crazy. Alabama? Oh, that's my favorite. Favorite, Alabama. Did you know that you can't, what's that?
You performed in Alabama?
Yes, I have. I performed at air bases in Alabama, and I was really disappointed. Yeah, at air bases, tons of airplanes and jets all over the place. And I'm like, hey, you guys know that I flew myself in here, right? You guys couldn't have gassed one of these things up and come got me?
I picked you up at a private airport.
Well, wouldn't that have been a thing? You guys got tons of air.
Very nice.
Can't you just airplane Uber me over to you?
So Dylan, I know why it's so good for us to laugh and for me to laugh at you. Like, do you get the same pleasure out of making people laugh?
No, it hurts. No, I love it. I love making people laugh. It's great. I love it. Like I said, when I was younger, it felt like a superpower for me. It's something that I was so excited that I was able to do. Would you do, you guys, you like, I don't know, what would you call it? You appraise properties, or you like, by the way, I own a condo and I think it's worth $1. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out my property tax.
That's right. We value all the properties.
Yes. So mine's like, really, that's not even a thing. Just
also the Tim Hortons cups though, so lots of good content.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, in case you want to know how much equity is in this particular condo I'm in, let's add the value to those cups here, okay? Let's not kid ourselves. Those things during the apocalypse. Hey, who's got the Tim Hortons cups? So that's going to be a big question.
Yeah. Well, I want to do something fun with you, but before I do, I want to ask you, do you think the world's going to be a different place after all this? Like once we are finally released from our isolation and quarantine and we start to go back out into the world, like, do you think we're all going to be really different?
I think that it'll be interesting. I think a lot of people are going to wear those masks. At least out of the gate. Everyone's going to come out looking like a Mortal Kombat character, just like Sub-Zero, just the whole mask and everything like that, which I find a little daunting. I'm like, are you just trying to be safe or are you trying to rob me? I can't, I don't, what's happening here? This is new. Yeah, I think people are just going to be sensitive with each other. Everyone is going to think we all have cooties, which, you know, is probably going to be a good thing in the interim. And then the hypochondriacs will slowly reveal themselves when everyone else calms down. And 10 years from now, some guy will still be in a mask. It still could be in us. You never know. So,
well, because right now, if you go outside for a walk, people do literally like a 10 or 12-foot radius around you. So people are going to have to change.
Yeah, I know. I have never smelled my armpits more. I'm like, what's up, everybody?
That's right. It's you. Okay, so I'm going to do some rapid fire questions with you. You heard of rapid fire? First thing that comes to your mind when I ask you the question?
Okay. Briefs.
Ready?
Oh, sorry, you didn't ask the questions yet. Sorry.
All right, what is your favorite color and why?
Purple. Ching. Because I like it for all the candies. I find purple tastes the best. Purple freezies are the greatest color, I think. Purple popsicles, I think they're the tastiest. I like that. I like a dark purple where, you know, I think it's, I don't know, I like the way I look in it. I like that I can pull it off. Some people are like, he's mistaken.
Purple's your color. Got it.
I think purple's my color. I like purple a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Favorite food?
Chinese food, man. I really love Chinese food. I miss that. I haven't eaten that in a while.
Yeah, I think we all love Chinese food.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh, yeah.
What book are you reading or would you like to read?
Say that again, sorry?
What book are you reading or would you like to read?
I've read a bunch of books. I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was reading that. But I was like, come on, just more the grow rich part. I hate thinking. Come on, man.
Can you just close that chapter and just go to the grow rich part?
Yeah, just grow rich. Come on. Yeah, what books? I don't know. What was I reading? Man, yeah, I think I wanted to go back and read Lord of the Rings. I don't know. It's a good book. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure this is what was on everyone's mind. What books is he reading, honey? Get a pad, because we're gonna write. Yeah, this is finally the interesting stuff.
Okay, and what was your favorite part of today in this session?
Are we ending right now?
Well, we're gonna do a little video clip, but I just want to know.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I have
yeah, the time when you go, okay, well that's a wrap, everyone. That would be my favorite. I've loved this whole thing. I felt really relaxed and it was really nice talking to you the whole time. It's been fun. Awesome. It was great working with the staff. I've really enjoyed Carla and Jamie was so great. Yeah, everyone's been so wonderful. You know what? I'll even take a position if there's one open. I'll work for MPAC. Do you have no? Okay. That's what this really thing is about. It's really an interview for employment. It's I noticed that everyone still has a job there. So if you have an opening, I would be happy to tell you what I think houses are worth.
Okay. It's good to know. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today and for making me laugh. I'm sure I know you couldn't hear everyone's voices out across the province, but I'm sure everyone was laughing. I had a lot of fun. I was a little nervous because I can do the business, I can do the health and the wellness, but comedy, I'm usually just the participant. Not
yeah, Nicole, you fall off that. You fall right off that ball, and you will see that people will have completely forgotten about anything they may have laughed at me today.
It'll be the start of my comedy career, won't it, when I fell off the ball.